A very good afternoon to you wherever you are watching. Welcome to day 4 of the Women's Champions Trophy 2014. It's the start of the knockout stages, and what a belter we have to start with. The Netherlands up against Germany. Well, as you can see from the camera angle, it's a beautiful day here in Mendoza, but let's have a look at the pools and how these teams got here. The Dutch finished second in Pool A, perhaps somewhat surprisingly. They could only beat Japan 1-0 in their final pool match. They need to beat them by 2 clear goals to go to the top of the pile. They didn't do that, and as a result, they played Germany, whose goal 5 seconds from time against Australia meant they finished 3rd rather than 4th in Pool B. It was a fascinating day's play on day 3. There was plenty of movement in both pools to set up this quarter-final lineup. But these two teams know each other extremely well. But the weather will be key here today. It is incredibly hot out there, 35 degrees. And there is very little wind blowing down, and as the teams line up, there is a presentation to be made to Marie Mavers, the number 23, who is 23. She wins her 100th cap here today. What an achievement for her. The presentation being made by Jamie Mulders, the coach of the Germany women's team. So the presentation has now been made. We'll have the national anthems of both teams. The Dutch will be first, and then Germany, and then we'll be moments away from the first quarter-final here on day 4 of the 2014 Women's Champions Trophy in Mendoza, Argentina. Well, this will be the 19th meeting between these two hockey superpowers in the Champions Trophy, and it makes good reading if you're a Dutch fan. The Dutch have won 12 of the 18, Germany just 2, with 4 draws. The last Germany win coming in 1999 in Berlin, 3-2 victors on that occasion. Let's have a look at the Dutch lineup, and as usual, it's very, very strong, but the concern for Sert Marijn, the Dutch coach, must be the lack of field goals for his side. They've scored 4 in the competition, 4 goals that is, but all of them have been from penalty corners. 3 to number 17, Maartje Pauwman, the captain, and 1 to number 13, Kaya van Maasacker. Well, there is Sert Marijn, and he'll be mighty relieved that his team got past Japan It was more they wanted to get the win. The draw would have meant they'd have finished second anyway, and they would have faced Germany, who themselves are struggling for goals. They've scored 2 field goals. Christina Hillman has scored 1, and Franziska Hauke, number 21, the other one. That was 5 seconds from time against Australia that made Germany finish 3rd in their respective pool. There is Jamila Mulders, the Germany coach, animated coach on the sideline, and our 2 umpires for this one, Lisa Roach on the near side, and on the far side from the United States, Stephanie Yudvide. The video umpire, should we require, will be Carl Metchett of Ireland. So Germany, you'll notice they are wearing black armbands. That is in respect of Fritz Klein, the former vice president of the German Hockey Federation, who died recently, aged 77. The Netherlands get us underway then in this first quarter-final on day 4 of the 2014 Women's Champions Trophy in Mendoza, Argentina. And joining me, Charlie Broom, in the commentary box for this one, the former Wales and Great Britain international Sarah Thomas. And Sarah, fascinating game between 2 countries that know each other very well, but it is unbelievably hot out there.
Yeah, it's extremely hot. It's the hottest day we've had today, and like you said, they know each other inside out, and they will have done a lot of video analysis in preparation for this game. But for me, I'm hoping that the Dutch come out today all guns blazing, and they look to get that field goal early on.
35 degrees pitch side, and normally if we were playing the old style, i.e. halves, there would be a break after 15 minutes or so. So in fact, it's a quarters game anyway.
Yeah, that's right. When we played in the Champions Trophy as Great Britain in 2012, I think it was actually against Germany, we had that water break you spoke about because it was just so hot out there on the pitch.
The Dutch certainly have been, or they say they've been struggling with this quarters format because their game in the past has been about building pressure and momentum and wearing teams down, and this break after 15 minutes allows the opposing coach to make tactical changes, just to frustrate them that little bit more.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I'm hoping Holland really come out at the start today and really give everything for the first 15, so it's not building up as they go through the game. They made 2 changes to their starting lineup. We've got Van Massaka and Nunnik starting for them today.
And there's a free hit just on the edge of the circle, and here goes Dax, but that's a great tackle by Gablash, and Gablash gets the return ball through Schroeder's legs to Kruger, Muller, and that's a loose pass across the back. Lonen's unable to bring it under control, and the Dutch on the front foot from the very get-go here. Van der Heuvel, and it's bouncing around in there. An opportunity perhaps for the Dutch. Velten trying to get the snap shot away, but it's wide of the target, and a good start from Holland.
Yeah, good work from Holland getting into the circle and actually utilising the ball in there. Liedewij with 2 men on our back, still manages to get the shot off somehow, but not on target on this occasion, but doing really well to try and pop that out and make some space for herself, but potentially could have looked to get a corner there with 2 people so tight on our back.
The Dutch opened their Champions Trophy campaign with a 2-0 win against China. They then drew 1-1 against New Zealand, only the second time New Zealand have got a draw against the Dutch. And then they scraped past Japan 1-0. I think all the neutrals were heartbroken for Japan because they put up such a brave fight for 59 minutes and 54 seconds it was. It was really disappointing for Japan, but a lot of confidence will be taken from that by the Cherry Blossoms. Germany, on the other hand, they open with a 1-0 loss to Argentina, 1-1 draw with England. As the Dutch come into the circle now on the reverse take, looking for the penalty corner. Back to Van As. Van As tries to get it dug out, but it's cleared by Hannah Kruger. And here comes Germany through Altenberg. Altenberg cuts inside, sprays it out to the right-hand side. Nobody up that right flank, so it's dropped inside to Schutzer. Schutzer up against Van As. Van As gets away the free hit, and it comes! And is that touched? Well, there was a half-hearted appeal by Gablash, and well, if she's that confident she got the touch, she would have gone upstairs. So perhaps just trying to con the umpire on the far side. But there's still a chance here for Gablash on the reverse stick. Gablash straight at Sombrook, and Sombrook makes the first save of the match.
Yeah, good from Gablash to get that shot away, and it sounded like a really sweet connection. But
Otter into the circle. Otter, just ran away from it. Just ran away from it at the crucial moment. But the Dutch, having had all the pressure in the opening 4 and a bit minutes, now suddenly find themselves on the back foot. Muller. Muller-Wieland. Hauke wins the free hit, taken quickly by Kruger. Kruger fouled on the edge of the circle by Van der Heuvel. Muller. Muller-Wieland, is she going to wind one up? She is, and it comes. Deflection, tidy save from Sombrook with the stick. It wouldn't have counted had it gone in. The last touch was off a Dutch stick, and the ball had come off a German stick outside of the circle. Oh, ball pace there, just putting Muller-Wieland under a little bit of pressure, and cuts that ball out to the right-hand flank where Lorenz is waiting. She gets it now. Lorenz, the youngster, showing nice pace down the right flank. And Germany disappointing against Australia, but they played really well in that final quarter, didn't they?
Yeah, the fourth quarter was their strongest quarter by far, and in which they got the goal. So you can see today a little bit of slight different tactics from the Germans. They've dropped Muller back out of midfield where she played against Australia to the defensive line, and I'm sure that's just because of the strengths of the Dutch in terms of going forward, and she provides that really good out ball from the back for them.
Last time these two met in the Champions Trophy, it was a 9-goal thriller. The Dutch winning it 5-4. That was to decide the bronze medal and maintain the Dutch record of medaling.
Here we can see Muller-Wieland's ball in, just taking a deflection. The keeper still has to make that save and does well with it to push it out for a long corner.
There is the temperature, that's in the shade, 34.8, so you can imagine how hot it is out on the park. Ball forward now, finds Herg can't bring it under control, 16. I was going to say the Dutch have an amazing record in this competition. I mean, Argentina reached every semi-final since 99. The Dutch have medalled in every round since 97.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat, isn't it? I mean, and that's the thing, their consistency at that level is just absolutely immense. And that's what I want to see in terms of moving forward now. It's a quarter-final stage, it's an exciting day for the teams out there. Yes, it's hot, but today is where it really counts, and this is where I'm hoping that the Dutch in particular step up their game.
Yeah, we were talking before we came on air, you were saying a couple of years ago, Argentina weren't that impressive in the pool round, but come the knockout stages, they're right on their game. And sometimes, well, we say it, you don't lose these competitions in the first rounds, well, you don't win them in the first rounds, but you know, you can lose them depending on where you finish in the group. And if the Dutch don't go on to medal here, then they'll really rue that game against Japan and New Zealand where they failed to get the requisite goals.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think, you know, they were really disappointed, the Dutch, after the Japanese game. Yes, they came out 1-0, but you could tell they didn't go out to do what they wanted to do that day. So I think for them, that's the important thing today, is finding their form. They're into the fourth game. They really need to find their form. And against this German side, you know, it's going to be tough in this heat.
Hellman drops it out to Boss. Boss off the foot of Hillman, no, off the hand of Hillman, and Mavers, oh, the whistle's gone. It was off the foot. Boss, nice ball up to De Waard, who can't bring it under control. Muller-Wieland, Hasselmann. Nice ball from Hasselmann. And Steindorf does well under pressure.
Yeah, the Germans always look really comfortable, don't they, in terms of getting the ball out of defence. They're more than happy to play the ball around there, and that's the only thing I'd like to see them improve in their game, is that they look a bit more composed higher up the field.
Well, here goes Hillman. Long corner off the stick of Van Geffen. And that's a loose ball. Van der Herbel brings it forward. And the Dutch on the front foot here. This is Velten. Nothing happening. But Velten except for a long corner. Velten dropped this one out. Van Maasaker, Dex has plenty of space on the right hand flank, but it's up the middle to Van Ass. Van Ass drops to her knees and the herder just got in her way a little bit. Now Dex has possession on the right flank. Still going. Now is this the opportunity for the Dutch? De Waard never really got any pressure behind it, but Muller-Wieland's attempted clearance is blocked by De Waard, and now they get it clear to Germany, and it's down the line from Stockel.
Yeah, in the last game, that's what the Japanese did really well against the defence. Here we see Naomi Van Ass just go into ground, but the Japanese did really well in terms of protecting the centre of the field, and I think if Germany can do the same today and force the Dutch to the sideline and get people working really hard to close that down, you know, it could be a tactic in terms of stopping the Dutch out there.
Pull down the line. Picks up Margis. Margis tries to pick out Van der Herbel. Nice skill from Dirkse van der Herbel. Watched over the back line by Yvonne Frank, who's in goal today instead of Christina Reynolds, who last played against England, had a rather good game against England, saved a penalty stroke. Jamila Mulder says thank you very much. Back to Yvonne Frank, but to be fair, Frank has had a very good game too. She had a good game against Australia, even though they went down 3-1.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, for those guys, both awesome goalkeepers and good to share the first couple of games, and from there on in, we'll see what Jamie does in terms of selecting them.
Gablash, can she bring it under control? Well, first time across it comes, patted down from Sombrücken off the foot of Hillman, who is following in. Shirt Marijn.
That's the ball that makes the difference for the Dutch. That one pass through the centre and they're already on the attack. That's the one the Germans will need to block out.
Velten all the way to the byline. Velten comes, and so does Frank, who makes a decent save. Dirkse van der Herbel now. Across it comes, and Frank is there again. It's a long corner. Just under 3 minutes of the first quarter remaining. It's Netherlands 0, Germany 0, and a very level first quarter.
Yeah, I believe these two sides played each other only last month in Holland, and Holland came out 3-2 winners, but that apparently was a very tight game as well. So the Germans will have confidence going into this.
So they played 2 test matches, 2-1 and 3-2. Yeah, you're right. As they come forward once again, Germany play on, says the umpire. And unimpressed is Lisa Altenberg. Muller wins the free hit from the challenge from Dirkse van der Herbel. Under pressure is Lorenz, and Margis sniffing around. Dirkse van der Herbel and Lorenz gets it out of play. It's a sideline ball to Germany. Lorenz up to Stockel, who just pops it round the corner. Last of Boss. As we enter the final minute of this first quarter. No score, but both keepers have been worked. Just play back in to Marsaka, who wins the 16. And your quarter-time report reads, Sarah Thomas?
Yeah, it's quite equal at the moment, but I still think the Dutch forwards have a little bit more creativity in them than the German forwards. So I feel maybe as the game progresses, that will start to play dividends with it.
Off the foot of Nunink, and we have 20 seconds, so an opportunity here for Germany to try and get something at the death of the first quarter. In it comes from Müller, and the initial touches from Palman. And I think that will be that as the Dutch bring it over the halfway line. The quarter time hooter will sound, and there's no score to tell you about in this first quarter final. The Dutch and Germany are level at quarter time. It's 0-0. Well, a chance for the players to get some much needed water on board, and Mulders to give his team talk. The Dutch seem a little slow getting to the bench, and now Schurtmarijn has got them there for the chat, but that's 20 seconds that the Dutch have wasted. Mulders he's always so passionate, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is.
The irony was in the fourth quarter break against Australia, we thought he was being very calm, but in actual fact, we learned out later that he was just telling them that, all right, girls, well, the game's lost now. What do you want to do? So actually, he was playing the reverse psychology card, and actually, it worked perfectly because Germany came out and played really, really well in that fourth quarter against Australia. So let's have a look at some of the highlights from this first quarter. And pretty even Stevens. Not too many goal-scoring opportunities. Probably the best goal-scoring opportunities going to Germany.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really tight in the first half. I mean, both teams just kind of sussing out how each other are playing today, but that's what I feel. I feel like teams just need to go out a bit harder, especially in the start of the quarters, and you know, you need to get in the score sheet and not play the game of being 0-0, because we know how the Germans come back, and you know, they could score in the last minute quite easily. So I think for the Dutch, they need to get out there and score some goals.
The whistle blows, and we're off and playing in this second quarter. Netherlands 0, Germany 0. And Altenberg cuts back inside, but it's a good pick from Dex. And then Müller comes forward. Müller, has she moved into midfield?
Yeah, much higher up the field now than she was in the first half. Yeah, they've got the back four. They've put Müller into midfield now, and they've got her higher up the field to try and win back ball, I'm guessing, and then get those crash balls that she's known for into the circle.
Free hit, which Palman takes, goes the aerial route, trying to find Zandervaart. Zandervaart is through, up against Frank. Frank with a really good save. Good save from Evie Frank, one-on-one. Zandervaart took it to the open stick side, but Frank makes the save. Now Van Ast down the back line, and it's a free hit to Germany.
Yeah, this was a moment, wasn't it, for Holland, getting in behind the German defence. Does the right thing in terms of a right drag, but Evie Frank's a tall goalkeeper, and the drag's going to need to be a lot wider than that to get past her.
Frank was out quickly and actually didn't give the VAR much room in which to work. But from a Germany perspective, they'll be disappointed that that one ball managed to cut out the entire midfield and defence.
Yeah, exactly. They need to be careful of those, and just took a deflection off Hasselmann's stick, but those are the ones that cause havoc.
Velton very unlucky. Hasselman shielding the ball with her body, and I thought Velton just got round to nick it cleanly, but Lisa Roach, the experienced Australian umpire, officiating in her last tournament, deemed otherwise. Oh, and Muller's now back in the back line.
Yeah, back in the back line, and Germany have gone to a back three now with almost 2 screen positions in front of them, which is quite unusual for them. They normally play with a back 4 and sometimes a back 5 we've seen in this tournament, so very versatile in what they're doing back there.
In towards Hillman. And Germany have the free hit 5 metres out, which is taken quickly. And too high.
Yeah, it looked like it came off Eleanor Ho's stick, but umpire saying the ball was too high, and so giving it back to the Dutch there. Willemijn Bos is literally on the goal line at the moment.
Here she is. To Dex, goes infield to Velton, he gets a little touch, and here's Devard, he's got a bit of space, and in front of her is Herg. This is Herg here, and in the middle of the park was Ketels, but the Herg goes on the reverse stick, and it's up and over the bar.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times in this tournament, haven't we? You know, taking the shot from a really, really tight angle. I think the best bet for her there is to try and put the ball on the floor across the goal and see if one of our teammates can either get a deflection. Yeah, exactly.
Ketels in front of Kruger there.
Yeah, precisely. Done really well, Ketels, to get into that position. And I think if she could put it on the floor across, either they could get a deflection or they may find a German foot.
Kruger. Still going, Hannah Kruger up against Van Ass. Makes a little bit of space for herself before getting the ball down that right flank, and well, Paumann using all her experience to block the runner down the line and then protests her innocence, but we've seen cards given for that in this tournament. And a penalty corner, the first of the match, goes the way of Germany.
I mean, Paumann's on the baseline there and trying to tuck the ball between her legs to try and get rid of the ball. I mean, you need to try and get on your forehand, need to try and get strong there and just clear the ball.
Well, maybe what goes around comes around. She gets a block on the far side. Ultimately, she could have got a green card, but now she's given away the penalty corner. So Müller and Kruger are at the top of the circle for Germany. Just the one castle. What can Germany do here? And it comes. In fact, Kruger misses it out, and a chance for Otter. That's a great tackle from Velton. Still going Velton. Super stuff from the #1 runner for the Netherlands, and an opportunity wasted by Germany.
Yeah, really good running from Liedewij Velton and a great tackle at the top. Otter stopped momentarily before she decided to try and take that drag to the right and get a hit off, but
into the circle. Penalty corner comes again. Velton just having a chat with the umpire. Is she going to refer it? Well, she seemed pretty adamant, but she's obviously not that adamant.
Yeah, here we can see it again. Ball's dropped down. German forwards done really well to get first to that. Kruger's got it and he's come up off the stick into the player, so corner's been given.
So Kruger and Müller again. Paumann to the right of Sombrook, the left as we look from the top of the circle. Velton running one once again, and Kruger, this time it stopped. Kruger, great save, really good save from Joyce Sombrook. And Müller will give away the free hit, but that is a brilliant save. Okay, it might not have been in the corner, but her balance and poise is fantastic.
Yeah, you must think though for Joyce Sombrook getting to, here we see it. Yeah, good flick, but you know, she, like you say, her balance is just perfect, and she's managing to save a lot of these kind of height balls. And you know, she gets to train against Paumann every week. You know, she knows what a good flick's going to be like, and she's going to be confident with most of them, I can imagine.
And Marsaka trying to find out Dexy van der Heuvel. Sideline ball, and coming across to take it is Otter. Altenberg down the line, and free hit to the Dutch. Dirkse van der Heuvel will take it. She's got Van der Poel outside her. Poel's ball back inside. He's picked up by Kruger, and Kruger's given away the sideline ball. Velten up against Kruger. Velten into the circle, still going. Velten on the reverse stick, and it must be a goal. Oh, somehow on the far post, the Dutch have managed to miss the goal. Was it who was on the far post?
Great run here from Liedewij Velten. Absolutely great strength in terms of riding those tackles. Tried to get the ball across into the goal, and it's just, yeah, like we see here, just taken off the stick. How she's missed that from there, I do not know.
Ketels, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Ketels.
Deary me, what an opportunity for Sjoerd Marijn's team to take the lead.
But that's kind of the luck that normally goes with them, isn't it? You know,
well,
like that's
yeah,
the
you
thing.
say that. I was just about to say that the Dutch, you know, I've seen them carve teams open time
Yeah.
and time again, but only score one goal and then end up drawing the game or ultimately losing it in a shootout. It must be desperately frustrating for Sjoerd Marijn. They're not going to get a much better chance to take the lead than that. Frank was long gone. She was nowhere near the proceedings.
Yeah, Liedewij did really well in terms of not getting too close to her and changing the angle as she came into the back baseline. Did really, really well with the strength in there.
Oh, we've got some blood here. So it's Van der Poel's. He's picked up something in the forehead. She's got blood absolutely pouring from her forehead.
This is the moment for me where the Dutch need to stop passing it around, playing their two-touch hockey. That's exactly the style they played in the summer in the World Cup and were very successful with, and that's exactly what we don't see happening here. Instead, they're trying to do 1v1s and getting frustrated when they don't get the call from the umpire.
But the other thing is they get much more success when they go down the flanks and come along the baseline. When they try and bash their way down through the middle, you know, teams like Germany, Japan, you know, they'll get the sticks down and they'll stop them nearly 99% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Hauke. Still going Hauke into the top of the circle. Pauwman has it. Dirkse van der Heuvel's got Drost, who we haven't really seen in the game so far outside her. Here is Drost. Dropping it to Van Geffen. Gets it back. Drost up against Muller-Wieland. That's a great ball in from Roos Drost. Dirkse van der Heuvel to Van Geffen. Van Geffen's got plenty of time. Muller-Wieland a little slow to come across. And off the foot of Stockel. Into Steindor. Steindor's got to be careful here. Up against Nunning, she wins the ball.
Germany gone to a back five now, so they've started pushing a player on the right hand side much higher up the field and hopefully try and utilise that in terms of going forward. But
poor ball in field by Lorenz. Margie's has gone down, but the Dutch continue to come forward. Margie's okay, she's back up on her feet. And Germany have a 3-on-3 situation. Pauwman's making tracks to come back. Good work from Dax to just stop the German attack. Dirkse van der Heuvel in a corner.
yeah, she's been on the ball a little bit more today, and for me, she's one of their star players.
Someone's picked up a card. It's a green card. And it's Frederick Dex who's on to the naughty step. A fourth green card of the tournament for the Dutch in total, yet to pick up any yellows. But 2 minutes for Germany to play with an extra person. Here's Herg. Herg on that reverse stick side, which is so strong. Herg up into the 25, tries to cut back up. And inside the defence, wins the free hit, which Van Ass is going to take. On the reverse stick, here it comes. No, well, it's been turned in off Evie Frank's kicker. I'm not sure how she managed to put it into her own net from that angle, but with Durst on the far post, she really did need to get a touch on it.
Yeah, definitely, and that's much better from Ellen Hill, you know, like I was saying earlier, and she just needs to get that ball on the floor and across the goal, and then anything can happen.
Well, both keepers have seen the ball go in the net, but no goal to be scored yet. Long corner.
Germans' defence on the long corners are really good at the moment. They're getting the forward tight on the line, so they're forcing the Dutch to play straight back onto the baseline, and they're not being very successful with it at the moment.
Just confirmation there that Dirks is on the naughty step. She's served a minute of it already.
Yeah, got out this time and able to attack on the right-hand side.
De Gerde puts it in. Free hit for Germany, but good management, good game management from the Dutch during this period of the green card.
Yeah, here we see good ball from Hoek across the goal. Just gets a little touch into the goal, but yeah, that's much better. You need to try and put those balls flat across the floor to try and see what you can get in there, or whether one of your players can try and get a rebound.
Not often you see an aimless ball out of defence by the Dutch. And they're back up to full strength now. Muller. Gets it back to Schroeder. Muller had to work to bring that one under control, but does well. Lorenz back to Muller, Schroeder to that left flank. Nice work from Schroeder. Leaves Velton in her wake. And across comes Ketels to give her a hand. Oh dear, slip right also at the crucial moment.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, because here we have now the Germans trying to get back. But
3 on 2 here. If Velton can find the pass, here's Van Ass. All unmarked in the middle is De Waard. Van Ass. De Waard must score. She doesn't.
Wow.
Has Frank made the save?
I think Lorenz has got back there and managed to get a touch on her backhand, and it's gone into Frank and saved it as a result. But good dive-in save from Lorenz. Really good in terms of tracking back.
Oh, that's Lorenz going in for the tackle. And then Germany have just shelled the ball off the back of the park. But let's have another look at this. It's beautifully played. Yeah,
you see an obvious ball for Naomi Van Assis to her teammate, but Lorenz has just got something on there, and as a result, Frank's had to save it.
Yeah, she did. That's a brilliant save from Frank.
Yeah, really, really good.
Because that would be a goal if that's gone in, because Van Ass crossed it inside the circle. Well, that is a phenomenal save from Yvonne Frank. Schroeder, Stockel. Getting back is
Van der Poels.
Van der Poels, who's been stitched up. She's got a fresh dress on, and she's got a makeshift number on her back. This is De Gerde. De Gerde. Cross comes Muller. De Gerde tries to play in De Waard. But the Dutch getting into this more, well, applying more pressure, should I say, and getting some good opportunities in the final 5 minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, the Germans working really, really hard from the forwards and midfield to get back and try and support the defence, but looking more and more tired as the game goes on. So whether they can sustain that, we don't know.
So inside the final 10 seconds of the first half, Germany are going to just play this one round the back and see this clock out. There is the half-time hooter, and still no score in this one at half-time. It's the Netherlands 0, Germany 0. Wow, huffs and puffs in the Germany side. It's very, very hot out there, as we've said, and the teams will go for a well-deserved sit down and some water. I'm not sure how much cooler in the changing rooms it's going to be, because every room here is hot. There doesn't seem to be any air conditioning, but they'll have the ice jackets there ready, and they will come out in about 6 minutes time and prepare themselves for the start of the second half. But at half-time here in Mendoza in the first quarter-final, it's Netherlands 0, Germany 0.
Así es, Lore. ¿Cómo estás? Buenos días Mendoza, buenos días
Welcome back to Mendoza. We're at the half-time mark of the first quarter-final in this Women's Champions Trophy for 2014. It's the Netherlands 0, Germany 0. And let's have a look at some of the highlights from that first half. Sarah Thomas still alongside me in the commentary box, and Sombrook, the busier of the two keepers. Well, saying that, Frank's made a couple of great saves. That's one of them.
Yeah, here's a corner from the Germans. Good get off from Kruger towards goal, but a comfortable save for Joyce Sombrook there. You know, a little height on the ball, but not low enough to beat her, nor is it high enough. Yeah, shot from Helen Hoch from a really difficult angle, and as the game's progressed, we've seen it start to put those across the floor. Yeah, here was the opportunity for the Dutch. Naomi van Ast playing the ball across, and then Lorenz just doing a great diving tackle to make a little save, but Evie Frank doing really well there as well, as the ball comes up into her to clear it away and make it safe for the Germans there.
So this is the game in stats, and 5-2 shots, Netherlands, Germany. 5 shots coming from 11 circle penetrations, Germany with the 5. And possession, well, pretty similar, but Germany done a good job. They haven't allowed Marcia Powerman or Kaya van Marsack a chance from the top of the circle yet. No penalty corners for the Netherlands, and good discipline from Germany as well. No cards.
Yeah, really good from the Germans in terms of the penetrations and coming out with 2 corners from that as well. And like you said, Charlie, not giving any corners away is really important for them today.
So the crowd, in the first couple of days, they were trying to get out of the way of the water cannons as they sprayed the pitch. Today, they're trying to get in front of them. It is so hot, and on those concrete steps on the far side, it must be absolutely baking. The sun beating down from behind the stand onto the stand on the far side as the Dutch make their way back onto the park. Don't forget social media at facebook.com/FI Hockey. Also on Twitter at FIH_hockey, hashtag CT2014. But it's also a chance to tell you about the voting for Player of the Year 2014. There's an online voting for Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year and Rising Star of the Year for both men and women. And the participating players of both Champions Trophies are voting on all 3 categories. The coaches are voting on all 3 categories. But most importantly, for the first time, it's opened up to you, the fans, to vote as well. A percentage of your votes will go towards the decision. And from the week commencing the 15th of December, you can go and vote. All the players have been put onto a shortlist to give you a helping hand, because it is quite tricky with so many good players around the world to choose from. But stay tuned on FIH social media, on Facebook and Twitter, and there'll be more information for you as we get close. But essentially, once the Champions Trophy in Bhubaneswar, India, has finished, then it's over to you lot to tell us who you think are the best players, best goalkeeper and best rising star in world hockey. And I think we can get the thoughts of Jamelon Mulders, who is pitch side with Mel Cludo.
Jamelon, how happy are you with Germany's performance in the first half?
I'm really pleased about the performance. I think it's one of the best halves we played in this tournament. We did a good half against Argentina, one against England. Now the question will be, are we able to go on? That will be the big question. If it's possible, maybe, then it's possible to turn something around.
And what are you hoping from your team in the second half?
Yeah, keep on going. Keep on going, trust yourself, be confident. That's the important thing. If we are focused on Valencia on one side, we have to be confident.
Thank you very much for your time and good luck for the second half.
Yeah, thanks to Jamelon Mulders, and there's some improvisation going on pitch. There's been quite a lot of water put on the pitch at the half-time break. It won't take long, I would imagine, for this water to evaporate, and we're underway. No? Well, someone blew a whistle. Okay, now we're ready to get this second half underway, and Germany attacking the goal to our right-hand side. No goals to tell you about in the first half. Netherlands 0, Germany 0, but plenty of goal math action. Yvonne Frank in the Germany goal with a couple of magnificent saves that have kept her side on level terms. It's just behind Oldhaffer from Mavers. And Lorenz will hope this goes out over the back line, but she's got Helen Herg to contend with. And then she throws the aerial aim for Hillman. Hillman can't bring it under control, so now it's Nunning who's ushering the ball back, and it goes out for a sideline ball to the Netherlands. Here is Palman. Palman tackled by Hillman. And a chance here if Stockel can get it out. Oh, she's played it back to Palman just when they turn possession over high up the park. Germany can't find the pass that could have unlocked the Dutch defence. Palman winds up a massive crossfield ball that's easy pickings for Hauke. Stockel. Little look up. Hillman all unmarked in the centre. Just behind Hillman, but the clearance to Steindor. Hauke, chance here is there. Palman comes across to snuff it out as Gablash tries to get the ball across, but Sarah Thomas still alongside with the commentary box. So good start the second half from Germany.
Yeah, a good positive piece of play there for Germany, just finding their players, playing simple hockey, but being effective in doing so.
Lorenz is going to pick up a card for that tackle. And Lorenz has 2 minutes on the chair, and we saw the Dutch manage the game very well when they were down to 10 in the first half. Can Germany do something similar at the start of the second? Oldhaffer plays it into Velton, who turns it over and then finds Dirkse van der Heuvel. Hillman. Oh, to Schroeder, who just came on as Steindor went off. That must have been close to having too many players on the pitch.
Yeah, that was lucky for her going on. I don't think the other one had come off the pitch, had they?
Otter. Stockel off the foot of Dirkse van der Heuvel. Otter throws the aerial over Van Geffen. Van Geffen across to Boss. Here is Boss to Palman. To Van Geffen. Around Schützer. Fairly easy, then she goes to ground. Sideline ball to Holland, taken by Velton, back to Palman. Chance here for Dex to fire it in, but gets a touch off a Germany stick, and it's a long corner. And Lorenz back on, just in time to defend this free hit. Well, they can't switch off here, Germany, just because they got the player back on. Gablash bringing it out of the 25, but didn't really have any options or idea what she wanted to do with the ball. Van Geffen. Velton up against Hasselman. Belton just having a word with Lisa Roach because she wanted it to be quicker. Belton to the circle edge. Muller with a great stop.
Yeah, a great tackle from Muller. I mean, she plays her hockey actually in Holland at Kampong, and so we'll play these girls every week, and she looks one of the more confident ones out there today. Germans doing really well at the moment, though. Every time a Dutch player picks up the ball, they've got someone on them, and also making lots of substitutions so they can stick to the pace of the game.
Hasselman ushers it out over the goal line for a 16. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing from left to right as we look down from our commentary position, so from behind Evie Frank's goal. It brings a little bit of relief to the players, but the stands will block quite a lot of that breeze down on the pitch. So to be careful here. There's Schroeder. There's a free hit. Lorenz to Muller-Wieland. Oh, Muller-Wieland almost gets robbed high up the park. In the end, she just shells it forward. And Paumann picks it up just inside Germany territory. Here is Drost. Lovely ball across. Frank is there. That's a good clearance. And even better from a Germany perspective that it finds Marie Mavers. Mavers' ball cut out by Marsaka. And here come Holland once again. Oh, Van Aast can't pick it up. Ketels into the circle. And once again it breaks down for the Dutch with the final ball.
Yeah, that was better from the Dutch. Naomi Van Aast arriving later into the top of the circle where she can find some space. All the other players pushing so close to the goal, it's just really congested in there, so she needs to keep doing that if she's going to try and find some space in that circle.
Oh, a couple of advantages played there. The first against Germany, which they didn't like. The second one against Holland, which they didn't like. Hasselman. Schroeder inside and out of Devard.
Jami Mulder's asking his team to stretch high up the field to create some space, but actually the Dutch have time to get back and actually defend that really well, so they're not really utilising any of the speed or the space on the field.
Hillman to Lorenz. Ball up to Kruger into Hillman. Oh, that's too much of Hannah Kruger. Here's Drost to Van Aast. Nice run from Van Aast. Nice pick from Drost. Van Aast to the circle edge. Frank's come. And Frank makes a brilliant save. That's really good goalkeeping.
Yeah, really good. She doesn't come out too high and lose herself in it. She's always at a balance, so really good composure to make that save.
Margis into the circle. Muller-Wieland gets it clear.
Here we see a great run from Naomi Van Aast into the top of the circle. Makes good contact with that, but Evie Frank out, and the Germans doing really well to actually shape Naomi Van Aast in to take a shot into the goalkeeper rather than giving her space to take a forehand shot.
So that's what 3 crucial saves Frank has made in this game.
Yeah, crucial saves. They've still not given a penalty corner away, so
Lorenz almost putting Drost in. What a horrible ball that would have been, and she picked it off Drost. Van Aast. Oh, it's touched away. Here's a shot. It's another good save off Margis. Frank's on the bottom. And somehow they get it. Well, they don't get it clear. Margis in again. But Frank makes another brilliant save.
Yeah, really good. Van Aast starting to come into this game more and more now and doing really good work down the right-hand side there to get behind the German defence. Puts a great ball in, unfortunately falls off Dirks, but Evie Frank doing really well when she's on the floor to make that save. The ball does go into her, but still a really good save.
This game is beginning to remind me a little bit more and more of the final of the World Hockey League Round 3 in Rotterdam back in the summer of 2013, where the Dutch laid siege to the Germany goal for what was in those days 70 minutes, scored one goal, with Eileen Hoffmann getting the equaliser 60 seconds from time, and Germany going on to win the final in a shootout. Dirk van der Heuvel, and it goes. Oh, that's a great touch by Margie's. Frank was totally beaten.
Yeah, that's very Kim Lammers-like, isn't it, what she's doing there? Great little touch, trying to get something on goal, and that wasn't too far off at all. Here we see Margie's making good space for herself in the circle while Dirk van der Heuvel puts the ball in. Just getting a touch on that. Knows exactly what she's looking for.
Nice work from Van Ass. This is her best game of the tournament by far. Van Ass into the circle. Little ball down to Veltin. Veltin, across it comes, and still they can't beat Frank.
It's corner.
I think this is going up top, isn't it? Julia Muller. Just has a little question whether they've accepted it. And this is the end where Palman has scored all her 3 goals. In fact, all 4. They are going upstairs.
I didn't hear it, sorry. Okay.
Let them use it.
Question is, what would you like? Okay. Okay.
Dutch is saying this.
Germany would like to know.
They already called it. They wanted to know of me if I saw anything. I couldn't help it. They had asked for it. They were referring to me too.
Okay, Rose.
Quiet, please.
Okay, I had it on the first one into the keeper, and then it came out. So.
Sorry, Steph. I don't know what you're asking me.
They want to know if the ball is free. The ball did come out, but I had it into the keeper on the first one.
Okay, you're looking to see is the ball stuck under the goalkeeper?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take a look.
So Carl Richard of Ireland, the third umpire, the video umpire. The Dutch were just complaining. We'll have a look at this first.
The ball was over the goalkeeper.
It looked like a foot off Halka there,
Yeah,
before anything else.
It looked like a foot on the way in, didn't it? Towards the goalkeeper anyway, but that's not the question they've asked, so.
Well,
okay, Steph. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
There is a German foot.
Yeah.
Good.
The point of
So
the
it's a penalty corner, and Germany lose their referral.
so that's the point.
The German foot.
The point of the video referral is to get the right decision. So, although originally it was given the ball getting stuck under, she missed the foot earlier in proceedings, and that's what Cal Metchard has picked up on. So that's really good work between the umpires. And if you're wondering if it had been missed, it hasn't been missed. So this is the end that the Dutch have scored all 4 goals.
Yeah.
Plenty of noise from the Germany defence. Palman on the left, the Herder on the right. This is only going to Palman, surely. Palman! Oh, what a save! What a save! She's picked it with a stick.
That is a great save from Evie Frank.
Oh, you love those ones as a keeper. Palman must have been thinking this is in all day long. Still, the Dutch will build and Veltin can't control it. And we might get a chance to see this now.
Here we go, as always, a good routine from the Dutch. Palman gets hold up, but Evie Frank is an awesome, absolutely awesome save with her stick to deflect that wide.
That is creeping just inside the post,
That is
isn't it?
ridiculous.
That is a magnificent save. That is world class. Palman is back inside Altenberg. Dirk van der Heuvel to Palman, who's pushing up a little bit higher now. Veltin into the circle goes Veltin, and can't win the penalty corner. Shoots up. Müller. Oh, that's a great pass from Müller to Altenberg, and Altenberg, with the defender Van Geffen having sold herself, can't bring it under control. And there's another look. A nice height for it, but this is just brilliant. It's behind her when she picks it. Schroeder. Dex. Palman. Van Geffen to the right. Van Marsacker directly behind. Now Van Geffen has it. Van Geffen thinking about her options. Plays it up to Veltin. Veltin. Good tackle from Altenberg. Plays it to Gablash. And Altenberg makes the effort to support Gablash, and Gablash loses possession. Dress wins the free hit. Dirkse van der Heuvel will take. This is Dex firing it in. That's going to be too high. And a free out for Germany as we enter the final seconds of the third quarter. And it's really been all Netherlands in this third quarter, but they haven't found a way past Evie Frank in the Germany goal, who's made a couple of very good saves and one absolutely world-class save. That's it, three-quarter time, just 15 minutes remain in this first quarter-final, and still the Dutch can't break Germany down. It's Netherlands 0, Germany 0. Well, Sarah Thomas, fascinating quarter, but at the moment it only looks like one team's going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, the Dutch playing themselves more and more into the game. Naomi van As was really good, particularly in that quarter for them. But still, yeah, the German defence are doing extremely well in closing them down and winning the ball, and they haven't given away many corners at all, only that one, and Evie Frank looks on her game today.
Well, I mentioned the Hockey World League final in Rotterdam. That was in round 3. Very similar game, although the Dutch on that occasion took the lead. But Jolanda Mulders is at 15 minutes away from taking this to a shootout. Sjoerd Marijn will be desperately hoping that his team don't enter into the lottery of a shootout and can win it in regulation time. So here are some of the highlights from the match so far. That's a world-class reaction save from Frank in the first half. And the pick off the penalty corner was the second one in the second half, or the second world-class save. Germany get us underway then in this fourth and final quarter. No score in the first 3. This the first quarter final on day 4 of competition of the Women's Champions Trophy in Mendoza, Argentina. And the Dutch are all over Germany, and can they find the breakthrough? They can! At long last! It's been coming! Who's getting the congratulations. Lovely ball in, and on the reverse stick she gets it inside that far post.
Great piece of passage of play from the Dutch to get there, but Michelle van der Pols taking this superbly to get that above Evie Frank and past Otter as well into the top of the net.
And the first field goal for the Netherlands in this competition.
And Michelle van der Pols has been out for maybe 2.5 years with injury, and this is her first tournament back, so I'm sure that will give her an awful lot of confidence.
So real disappointment for Javelin Molders. I'm sure he has said to his team at three-quarter time, keep it tight, and they've conceded inside the opening 20 seconds. But as I said, it had been coming. I don't think the Dutch will rest easy until they get a second.
Yeah, exactly. It depends whether Germany can come back into this game straight away now, and as we saw the other day against Australia, the fourth quarter was their best one.
No less than the Dutch deserve, really.
Yeah, no, they've created opportunities and the Germans have defended well, but yeah, at this stage you'd say the Dutch do deserve to be up.
Muller, Wieland and De Hoede. De Hoede doesn't get the call, and here come Germany. This is Schütze to the circle edge, still going Schütze on the reverse stick. Can she get the shot away? Oh, she can, but she hooked it. And it's wide of the target, but there was some good work in there from Stockel, who provided sort of a screen. Watch this as she cuts across. Stockel just screens the player here.
Yeah, she does, but good work from Schütze to get that ball in the air just enough to try and make contact with it, and fortunately just takes it, swipe to the side.
Here comes De Waard to Van As. Van As allowed to come to the circle edge and at the far post, and unable to turn it in was Veltin, but that's a real opportunity for the Dutch. It should have been two.
Yeah, that's the one they need to score to ensure that, you know, they take Germany out of this game. Great ball in from Naomi Van As, and Liedewij Veltin needs to be on the end of that, stretching out, diving, whatever it takes, she needs to be putting that one into the net.
Pauwman, Van Geffen. Bos. De Hoede. De Hoede. And support. And Marsaka. Hög. Comes inside and wins the free hit off Oldhaffer. Hög takes it quickly. Oh, Hög's going to be allowed to run to the circle edge now. Hög into the circle, trying to find the penalty corner, still going, and Hög just puts it past the post on the reverse stick side. And Germany just cannot allow the Dutch to run unchallenged to the top of the circle.
Yeah, there was a player on the right-hand side for the Dutch, and Otta didn't commit to go in because she was worried about that. But in that situation, you've got to go to the player on the ball. You can't afford for them to just run straight through the centre of the park and get some shots on target.
And this has been a dreadful start to the fourth quarter from Germany. They could have had three here, the Dutch, inside the opening 3 minutes. De Waard wins the free hit. Pauwman. Hoede. Hoede. She needs to have two players on, and Steindor's done enough. Steindor has it. Steindor on her way. She's got Mavers outside her. And the free hit given away by Van Marsacker. That's good defending from Kai and Van Marsacker. But Mavers just couldn't quite get up in support of Steindor.
Yeah, Steindor didn't look like she had the pace to go around her, so doing well to get the free hit for her team high up the park.
Veltin with the tackle on Lorenz. Veltin brings the ball away. Veltin's up against Kruger, cuts it back to Van As. Van As has Hög behind her, but this is Van der Pols. Van As. Van As into the circle, pulls it back, and the stick is flung at it by Liedewij Veltin, but it's behind for a 16. But Van As is now really pulling the strings for the Dutch.
Yeah, she's finding her way down onto the baseline, coming around the back an awful lot now, and it's just what they can do with that. Good opportunity though from Liedewij Veltin, putting her stick in to try and get deflection on it. But yeah, I think we'll see a little bit more of that in the next 10 minutes. I mean, mean, the unfortunate thing for Germany, you see Naomi Van Ass coming down the baseline, really good drive. You can see how she gets the ball out so far in front of her that the defender just isn't an option to try and tackle her.
That was a dangerous looking ball, but Hauke has it as Durst and Hög put on the press. Germany though into the 25. Here's Kruger, support on the left if she wants it. Kruger now takes it on herself and into the circle it goes, still deflecting around, and Germany have lost their referral. So the 16 will stand with a free out.
Yeah, that's the thing for Germany, isn't it? They defend really well. Their midfield have worked tirelessly today to try and win the ball back in there, but they just haven't got that out-and-out goal scorer. Since they've lost Natasha Keller to retirement, they've really struggled with that.
Dirks van der Heuvel shoots, loses out to Velten, goes through the legs of Velten, but Velten does well. Eventually, Gablash wins it back for Germany. Well, that's a bit of a wasted ball from Hannah Gablash.
Yeah, the German coach is shouting them to get high and press high and try and win the ball back, but you know, they had the ball on that occasion and they just hit it out.
Lorenz had to make the trap because Durst was in behind her, she had missed. Steindorf does well, gets around Dirks van der Heuvel. Kruger into the circle, goes Hannah Kruger. That's a brilliant tackle from Palman.
Yeah, really good. For me there though, the German forward receiving the ball and playing back into trouble. There was space for her to drive on the right and around the baseline, and maybe that would have been a better opportunity for her.
Well, Germany perhaps being slightly guilty of what Holland have been guilty of up until this game, which is trying to go down the middle and not round the side and along the back line. Lorenz, and that's good work from Margis just to put Hasselmann off and win the sideline ball, and Margis drives really high now to try and stretch the Germany defence, but now it's the turn of Germany to put on the full court press. It's going to be a full court press, you feel, for the next 7 minutes from Germany as they look to get this equaliser, but as they push, there's so much space at the back. Dirks van der Heuvel now into the 25, back into the centre. Durst trying to bring it under control. Durst on the volley and pulls it just wide.
That's a great opportunity there from Drost, doing really well to smash that on the volley, and that wasn't too far off at all. Good work from Dirks van der Heuvel in. Drost, the ball comes up and she makes the most of it, turning with a shot. Yes, it's not on target, but really good contact with the ball.
Germany have got to be careful here. I mean, they've got to push for the equaliser because they're into the knockout stage of the tournament. So if you're going to lose 1-0, you may as well lose 2 or 3.
Exactly, that's the tricky thing, isn't it? You've gone that goal down and now you have to get another goal back, so that you're going to leave space naturally. It's what you do with that, and at the minute the German forwards are working really hard back to try and minimise that space.
Muller's back up into the midfield, and looks like she's running on empty. Another chance. That's a brilliant tackle from Lorenz on Zandervaart.
She's made some really good tackles.
Yeah, she's played really well. Just what, 19 years of age?
Yeah, exactly, a really good talent.
First major tournament.
Here we see it, Lorenz coming in, just timing that really, really well. Not flinging a stick down, but actually taking it with a bit more control to lower it.
A little bit of help from Otter as well. Muller now finds herself on the right-hand side into Hasselmann. Dirks van der Heuvel stick a little high. Hasselmann, that's a nice pass that's been picked up by Hauke. Oh, Hauke, just as she tried to feed it in to Gablash, just didn't get hold of the ball. 5 minutes then of this quarter-final remaining.
Yeah, good control there from Hasselmann to take the ball away, but good pushing from Dirks van der Heuvel with a stick in her back.
Long corner, which Hillman will take. Hillman to Muller-Wieland. Goes all the way across to Lorenz. He'll come back to Muller. Muller sees the corridor, but there's nobody in a black shirt in it.
Yeah, the minute you see Muller pick up the ball, you know she's going to try and drive the ball towards goal, and it's just that connection with the forwards there as to whether that's going to come off or not. We know they like to deflect it towards goal from that pass, but we've not seen an awful lot of that in the last game.
Just explaining the decision and what has been given. And there they go again, the Dutch. Margies has Van Ast inside her. That's a terrible tackle, or attempted tackle, and advantage played, and the ball cleared off the line by Germany, but it's still alive, and Frank goes to ground a little quickly there. But
yeah, Hasselman doing really well to get behind Frank there to save that off the goal line, but you just see it more and more now, the Dutch coming into the game behind the German defence just because of that space we spoke about earlier. Here we see a good run from Magus, good strength, plays the ball across beautifully, but Hasselman on this occasion just read it, managed to mop it up.
Pauwman to Margies up to Herg trying to pick out Van Ast, but the cross is Muller-Wieland, gets it out of harm's way, and then De Herder puts it out, and it's a Germany sideline ball. 3 minutes and a little bit remaining in quarter-final one. Netherlands 1, Germany 0. The scoreline not flattering the Dutch at all. They could and possibly should be quite a bit further in front. Van Geffen to Velten. Velten, who's got all the tricks in the locker, loses out on that occasion. Schütze came across, and got a kicking back here. Frank is withdrawn, and Otter is the kicking back. The helmet now behind the goal, and Germany will try and utilise the extra outfield player here if they can.
Yeah, Germany did this earlier on in the pool stages, didn't they? But
what they've done is they always stick the kick.
Yeah.
They always stick the kicking back at left back or in the midfield. Where surely you want Muller-Wieland wearing the blue bib.
Yeah, precisely. That's what I mean. They did it early in the pool, but I'm not sure how effective it was for them.
Well, as we say, if you're going to lose 1-0, you may as well lose 2. Steindor to Kruger. Is this to be a chance for Hannah Kruger? No, because the Dutch have just managed to get that one out of harm's way, and I think Van Geffen can consider herself a little unlucky not to get the decision.
Yeah, Germany need to try and utilise this extra player now and not just keep them stuck out on the side.
Here it comes, here is that chance! And the save is made by Sombruk as Hasselman comes in from the left-hand side. Muller-Wieland, just too slow. Oh, and here come the Dutch, and this could be the game here if Velten can get going forward, but she can't. Hauke has possession inside the final 80 seconds. Velten and Van Marsacker is keeping Germany at bay, but it's off the foot of Velten. And Velten, wow, very lucky not to give away the penalty corner. In it comes from Lorenz, and that's clacked somebody, and that is going to hurt. That is Van Marsacker who's been hit. She's okay.
Good deflection across, but Joyce Sombruk's out to that very, very quickly. It's a close one.
Just deflects it wide. Okay, it's the last throw of the dice for Germany. Nice spin. Onto the reverse stick side goes Mavers. Can she cap her 100th cap with a goal? Last touch off Palman, was it? Long corner.
Yeah, good ball across there from Mavers. Absolutely screaming at her teammates to get on the post or get something on that.
Nice work from Schutzer. Schutzer loses out, but here is Muller. Muller needs to shift it to her left. Oh, that should have come a while ago. Muller-Wieland into the circle, off the foot, and it's a penalty corner. Rotterdam springs to mind if Germany can stick this one in.
I think the Dutch are...
Well, they're going to have to refer it. Julia Muller should have gone across to Muller-Wieland about 5 seconds before she did.
The space was there.
You just check whether that was a foot.
Let's have a look. I think this is Van Ass on the foot, isn't it?
Muller-Wieland putting the ball in, claiming it immediately. That's gone on the foot, but that's taken the stick. That hasn't touched the foot. That's taken a deflection off the stick and come behind her. Yeah, Naomi Van Ass saying straight away, no.
And Marsaker's strolling across to get the ball.
Here we see it coming in, little deflection initially, and then there's Naomi Van Ass. Clips her stick, but no, goes past her body. She does well just to try and move her foot, her right foot there.
That's it. Yeah, well, umpires are blind. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Holland win, keep the referral, and it's a bully. Sorry, Carol, that was a bully, was it? A bully. No foot.
So it's no penalty corner.
I think girls, can we take it?
Team screaming at Ellen Hoch to come back. She was just stood on the sideline.
So 12 seconds remain in this quarter-final. Everybody is inside the 25. Velten and Muller on the bully, and that has gone wide, has it?
Yeah.
Wow, Yami Mulders and his side have come desperately close to snatching a draw right at the end, but the Dutch hang on to win this quarter-final and book their place in the semi-final. They've won it by 1-0. Wow, I said Rotterdam. Well, we had a look. Let's have another look at this as this is fired in.
Yeah, great ball in from Muller, but takes a deflection wide. Really good ending there for the Germans, though. Really pressed high and made some opportunities for themselves, and probably the best part of the game for them.
Yeah, real disappointment for Germany, but let's take nothing away from the Netherlands. They should have won by more than the one goal they did. They had 3 really good opportunities at the start of the fourth quarter. They converted one of them, courtesy of a lovely finish from Michelle van der Poels, and then Yvonne Frank made another couple of great saves, but the final score reads Netherlands 1, Germany 0. So these two, well, now wait for the results of the Argentina game. Later on this evening, Argentina taking on Japan. And here is the goal. Fine finish.
That was an absolutely great finish. Moving away from goal, and Van der Poels managed to just get enough on it to get it above Evie Frank.
But here's another opportunity. They were countless, weren't they, at the start of that fourth quarter?
Yeah, they were. That was their moment in the game, and that's the moment that changed it for them to get the win.
So Germany still wait their first victory against the Dutch in the Champions Trophy. They have to go back till 1999 for their last win. well, it's not going to come in this edition. Well, there's the highlights of that first quarter-final. It's a very, very warm day out there, and the players have done well, and we're going to get some post-match reaction now. And I think we've got Julia Müller, the Germany captain, just waiting down on the pitch with Mel Clulo to give us her reaction. Let's go down to Mel and Julia now.
Tied in the world, really, really close. How proud are you of your team?
Yeah, very proud, and I think that was our best performance this tournament so far. And yeah, I wish that we could have played like this before, but I'm really happy that we did that today. But I think they were really lucky today that they won against us.
And looking forward to the classification matches on Saturday. What are you hoping to take from this game into those matches?
Well, I think I have to sleep a night over, but I'm quite disappointed now. But yeah, I think the way how we played, how we fight it, I think that's really good.
Thank you very much for your time, and good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thanks.
That's the beauty of having two sides to every game. I'm not sure the Dutch were lucky to win that one, Sarah Thomas.
No, and I'm not sure the Dutch will say that they were lucky there.
All right, let's hear from Archie Palman, the winning captain.
Congratulations today. You're the first team that's made it into the semi-finals. How happy are you as the captain of the Dutch team?
Yeah, I'm really happy. Proud how we played the second half. I think we showed how good we can be if we play our own game. Maybe we could have scored some more goals, but I'm happy with the result in the end. So happy that we're in the semis.
Thank you very much for your time, and good luck in the semi-finals.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks to Marcia, and they've still only conceded one goal here, one goal at the World Cup, one goal here. They're a very difficult side to break down, the Dutch. So let's have a look at the matches for today. We've got Australia-Japan coming up next, then New Zealand against England, and then the host nation Argentina played China in our last match today. That's at 8 o'clock, 8:30 local time. But the Dutch, they're in the semi-finals again. They're always there in the Champions Trophy. This time, can they take the gold medal? We'll have to wait and see. Congratulations to the Netherlands. They are through. They've beaten Germany by 1-0.